What if the most powerful financial institutions on Earth aren't banks? What if trillions of dollars move every day, outside governments, outside regulations, outside laws, through systems you were never taught about? And what if this isn't new? What if the first shadow banks were built thousands of years ago, long before Wall Street, long before central banks, long before money even had numbers? Because the truth is unsettling. The financial system you see is not the financial system that rules you. That system was engineered in the shadows, and it never went away. What shadow banking really means. A shadow bank isn't illegal. It doesn't rob vaults. It doesn't wear masks. It simply does something far more powerful. It moves money outside visibility. No deposits, no public balance sheets, no voter oversight. Just private credit, private deals, private power. Today we call them hedge funds, private equity, offshore trusts, special purpose vehicles, unregulated lenders. But thousands of years ago, they had different names. The first shadow banks, Babylon and temples. In ancient Babylon, the most powerful financial institutions weren't palaces, they were temples. Officially, temples were religious centers. Unofficially, they were financial black boxes. They issued loans, they charged interest, they held collateral, they enforced debt. But here's the key part. Temple transactions were invisible to kings. Loans were recorded privately on clay tablets. Wealth was hidden inside religious immunity. Debts could outlive the borrower. This was the first financial loophole in history. Punchline? Before offshore accounts existed, religion was the offshore account. Phoenician merchant cartels. The Phoenicians didn't conquer with armies, they conquered with networks. Merchant families controlled shipping routes, trade credit, commodity prices, information flow. They financed voyages privately, shared risk secretly, fixed prices quietly. To outsiders, markets looked chaotic, but inside merchant circles, prices were decided before ships sailed. No laws, no regulators, no transparency. Just agreements between powerful families. Punchline? The first cartels weren't criminal, they were commercial. Rome's shadow government, the Publicani. Rome had an empire, but Rome didn't control its money. Private tax corporations, the Publicani, did. They paid the state up front for the right to collect taxes, then extracted whatever they could. They funded wars, financed politicians, controlled provinces. By the late Republic, senators owed them money. Generals depended on them for campaigns. When private financiers fund the state answers to them. Punchline? Shadow banks don't overthrow governments, they replace them. The black money highways. Every civilization built shadow networks. India's Hundi system, China's ghost ledgers, Islamic Hawala networks, African gold routes, medieval merchant banks. All designed for one purpose. Move wealth without permission. No borders, no taxation, no visibility. Sound familiar? It should, because this logic built Swiss banking secrecy, Cayman Islands, shell companies, dark pools, crypto mixers. Punchline? Black money isn't modern, it's ancient survival strategy. The modern shadow banking system. Today, shadow banking controls more money than traditional banks. Not through vaults, but through leverage. Private lenders fund governments. Funds move housing markets. Unregulated credit fuels bubbles. And when it collapses, governments bail them out. Because shadow banks are too big to regulate, too connected to fail, too powerful to expose. Punchline? The shadows don't fear the system. They are the system. Why shadow banks never died? Because the incentives never changed. People want to hide wealth, avoid taxes, bypass laws, control outcomes. Governments overspend, overborrow, lose discipline. Shadow systems fill the gap, not as accidents, as solutions. Punchline? Shadow banking survives because it works. The biggest lie in finance is that money is controlled. It isn't. It's negotiated, behind closed doors, between people you'll never see. The ancient world understood this. Modern finance perfected it. The first shadow banks weren't criminals, they were engineers. They built systems designed to move power quietly. And today, you don't live in a regulated economy. You live in the visible layer of an invisible one. This is ancient finance, where history isn't just a story, it's a warning. And the next episode will expose a system even older and even more personal.